All right, today we're doing posterior delts and we're doing all partials. Because if you're somebody who's not getting results with those rear delts, it's because either you're trap dominant or you're losing it some way along that full range of motion. So what we're gonna do is cut it down, get more connection, get more growth, and it won't be a problem anymore. And even if you have great rear delts, this is just a great way to start your shoulder day. It's gonna push a ton of blood, feel like they're gonna blow up. So let's get after it. All right, so we're starting out with a high cable rear delt fly. Now you don't need this exact machine. You can just be a jerk and take over the entire cable crossover, or just find just one. Give me one cable and you can do it unilaterally. Of the lagging rear delts I've seen, I would say all of them have to do with the lack of connection. And of those, the majority of them have to do with the traps dominating the movement. Now that's either because they've trained incorrectly for years and they have such a deep-rooted connection to those traps that even if you put them on the right plane of motion, they still, at some point in the movement, they're going to engage those traps and it's just going to dominate, take them over. And at that point, it's hard to find that connection to the rear delt. Or they've trained incorrectly for so long that they've actually overdeveloped those traps that it becomes inflexible. So at a certain point in the movement, no matter what they do, those traps are going to fire based on the inflexibility. All right, so what we're going to do with these is just simply try to get those rear delts to fire, and we're just going to push a ton of blood. So what you're going to do is have your hands about eye level, and from there you're going to be on a 45-degree plane and just simply get those to fire. And it's a very short range of motion, maybe 6-8 inches. That's it. So it's repeated, it's 20 reps. And when I say 20, I have to reiterate this a lot because some people think you just get, high reps, 20 reps, it's lightweight. It's not light. You do 15 reps, and it's got to be something that you fail at that 15th rep, and you get 5 just garbage reps, as I call them, and that's your 20 reps. So if you feel like your traps are still jumping in, it's probably because your shoulders are lifting up through the movement. So before you even start, compress those shoulders down and then start the movement. From there, that's all you need is that little range of motion. And then I don't use handles on these. I just grab the cables. For me, that's a better connection. Kind of runs in the path I want to anyway. So take off the handles if you can and just use the cables. Also, don't think of partials as just some gimmicky thing you throw in there to get a nice pump. You can absolutely get results from these. You can create an entire workout of just these. If you have a better connection to partials, then that's what you should do. You should treat it like a totally different exercise, not just half of an exercise, a different one that you connect with better, and that's the one you should do. So a lot of people like high row movements for rear delts, and I simply don't. I would never program them into a shoulder day. I do them on back day and just I'm happy about that I get a little rear delt involvement, but I would never choose them on a shoulder day to hit posterior delts. There's just not enough isolation. Too many things can go wrong. The only exception to that is this bent over cable movement, because we're going to change the range of motion and find out where you really connect with it, but also because you're pulling away from your body, it really puts that rear delt on an island by itself where it's really hard for any muscle to jump in and take over the lift. All right, so we're gonna finish off by stealing a PT exercise and we're gonna make it our own. Now with these, I would always do unilateral work because you're gonna find out that one shoulder is gonna be more inflexible than the other. What you're gonna do is lay flat on a bench, opposite hand's gonna support your feet nice and wide, and you're gonna turn that palm out where the wrist rotates all the way over. And then from there, it's just a small rear delt movement. Don't try to come up too high, it'll pull too much into your neck and traps. And it's just coming all the way down, touching the ground again. As always, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment of the video you want me to do next, and get after it, get growing. I'll talk to you soon.